The Roman Empire's history is characterized by extraordinary achievements, cultural advancements, and military successes. However, it also features rulers whose incompetence, cruelty, or greed contributed to chaos and decline. While some emperors are celebrated for their leadership, others are infamous for their negative impact. Among the worst Roman emperors are figures whose reigns were marked by tyranny, mismanagement, or brutality, leading to instability and suffering. Their policies often exacerbated internal strife or weakened the empire's foundations, hastening its decline. This list explores the top 5 worst Roman emperors, examining their backgrounds, actions, and the reasons they are remembered negatively. These rulers serve as cautionary examples of how personal flaws and reckless decisions can devastate an empire that once set the standard for civilization. Despite their notoriety, their reigns provide valuable lessons on leadership, responsibility, and the consequences of corruption and misrule in history. Number 1. Nero, reigned 54 to 68 AD. Nero, Claudius Caesar. Augustus Germanicus, commonly known as Nero, was the last emperor of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. His reign is often associated with tyranny, extravagance, and madness. Although initially popular due to his youthful exuberance and promises of reform, Nero's later years were marked by cruelty, decadence, and political purges. Infamous deeds and reign persecution of Christians. Nero is notorious for initiating the first imperial persecution of Christians. Following the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD, which devastated much of the city, Nero blamed the Christians for the disaster. He subjected them to brutal executions, including crucifixions and being burned alive, marking one of the earliest state-sponsored persecutions. The Great Fire and blame. The fire itself remains a subject of debate among historians, but Nero's response was to deflect blame onto the Christians, madness and extravagance. Nero's obsession with the arts led him to perform as an actor and musician, often forcing aristocrats and commoners alike to attend his performances. His spending on lavish building projects, including his opulent palace, the Domus Aurea, drained the empire's treasury. Political repression and executions. Nero's paranoia led to the execution of many rivals and perceived enemies, including his own mother, Agrippina, and his wife, Poppaea Sabina. Downfall and suicide. Nero's tyranny eventually alienated the Senate and the Roman elite. Revolts erupted across the empire, and in 68 AD, the Senate declared him a public enemy. Facing imminent capture, Nero committed suicide, ending his tumultuous rule. Impact. His policies and cruelty contributed to instability, and his death marked the end of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Number 2. Commodus, reigned 180 to 192 AD. Marcus Aurelius's son, Commodus, ascended to the throne after his father's death in 180 AD. Unlike his Stoic predecessor, Commodus was known for his erratic behavior, vanity, and obsession with gladiatorial combat. His reign is often seen as the beginning of the decline of the Roman Empire's stability. Infamous deeds and reign self-idolization. Commodus believed himself to be a reincarnation of Hercules. He renamed Rome Colonia Commodiana and modeled himself after mythological heroes. Gladiatorial obsession. Commodus participated personally in gladiatorial combat, which was considered scandalous for a Roman emperor. He fought in the arena frequently, often winning by cheating or force, undermining the dignity of imperial authority. Mismanagement and corruption. His favoritism towards certain factions and lack of interest in governance led to corruption and neglect of state affairs. His administration was marked by chaos and financial decline. Repression and assassination. Commodus's cruelty extended to political rivals and senators. He was assassinated in 192 AD, strangled by his wrestling partner. Impact. Commodus's rule is viewed as a turning point toward instability and decline. His self-indulgence and abdication of imperial duties paved the way for the crisis of the 3rd century, where Rome faced economic decline, military defeats, and political chaos. Number 3. Caracalla, reigned 198 to 217 AD. Born Lucius Septimius Bassianus, Caracalla was co-emperor with his father, Septimius Severus, and later sole ruler. He is infamous for his brutality, cruelty, and edicts that led to widespread suffering, infamous deeds and reign consolidation of power. Caracalla's rise to power was marked by fratricide. He murdered his brother Geta in 211 AD to secure sole control over the empire. The Constitutum Antoninianum. In 212 AD, Caracalla issued the Edict of Caracalla, Constitutum Antoninianum, granting Roman citizenship to all free inhabitants of the empire. While seemingly progressive, it was primarily a move to increase tax revenue. Massacre at Alexandria. In 215 AD, Caracalla ordered a massacre of thousands of inhabitants in Alexandria after a political dispute. Persecution and cruelty. Caracalla was known for his cruelty and paranoia, often executing political rivals and perceived enemies without mercy. Assassination. His brutality and tyranny led to his assassination by a soldier in 217 AD, ending his short and violent reign. Impact. Caracalla's policies, especially the extension of citizenship, had long-term implications, but also exemplify his ruthless and destructive rule. His reign contributed to instability and violence that weakened the empire's cohesion. Number 4. Elagabalus, reigned 218 to 222 AD. Born Varius Avitus Bassianus, Elagabalus became emperor at just 14 years old. His reign was characterized by religious controversy, eccentricity, and scandal, which eroded the dignity of the imperial office. Infamous deeds and reign. Religious controversy. Elagabalus was a priest of the eastern sun god, Elagabal. He attempted to impose the worship of this deity on Rome, eccentric and controversial behavior. Accounts describe Elagabalus engaging in bizarre behavior, including extravagant banquets, and reportedly indulging in scandalous personal conduct. Political turmoil. His reign was marked by political chaos, with numerous plots, executions, and purges. His influence was limited, and he relied heavily on his grandmother and favorites. Marriage and gender controversies. Elagabalus famously married a Roman noblewoman, and some sources suggest he engaged in cross-dressing and other behaviors that scandalized Roman society. Impact. Elagabalus is remembered as one of the most scandalous and bizarre emperors. His focus on religious eccentricities and personal excesses destabilized the imperial office and contributed to the decline of the Severan dynasty. Number 5. Diocletian, reigned 284 to 305 AD, a controversial choice. While Diocletian is often credited for stabilizing the empire after the crisis of the 3rd century, some historians consider his later policies and methods to be oppressive, especially his persecution of Christians and authoritarian rule. Infamous deeds and reign persecution of Christians. Diocletian initiated one of the most severe persecutions of Christians in Roman history, aiming to restore pagan religious practices and suppress Christianity. Authoritarian control. He established the Tetrarchy, dividing the empire into 4 parts, and wielded centralized power, often suppressing dissent through brutal measures. Economic and social reforms. His reforms included price controls and attempts to curb inflation, but these often led to economic hardship and unrest. Impact. Despite his efforts to stabilize the empire, some view Diocletian's authoritarian and oppressive policies as contributing to long-term instability, particularly his religious persecutions, which alienated many and sowed divisions. Conclusion. The Roman emperors listed above illustrate how individual leadership, whether due to flaws, cruelty, or incompetence, can significantly impact an empire. That's all for today. If you like this video, please do like my video and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content. Thank you.